Well, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the My Hero Academia Episode 3 review. Today I'm joined by Nick once again. Let's just preface this with talking about our main protagonist's reaction to the fact that a girl talked to him.
Oh yeah, that was just insane. That was the highlight of the entire fucking show right there.
100%. They're not going to top it, so I say we just stop watching it here.
Yeah, alright, review over, we're done.
Yep, that's it. Clocking out. But no, like,
Goodbye.
that 5-second squeal from him was legit. I just talked to a girl! When he didn't even say anything at all.
It's beautiful.
Great bit of writing. We also got our little Rocky training montage.
Oh yeah, I think that was more the focus of the episode than anything else.
And they even got environmental cleanup product placement in there. After all, he was picking up the litter on the beach.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man, this show's getting a little too politically oriented for me. I'm gonna have to step away.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah.
that was cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed the montage. I generally just enjoyed everything about that episode. No real complaints. I mean, yeah.
It's a little bridging episode before we get to the main event, which is gonna be his little audition thing for the academy. Thought it was also solid. You're 100% right that they can transfer DNA. They use DNA to transfer the powers. Unfortunately, it didn't involve all kinds of blood drinking, rather eating a piece of hair. But he did say it just had to be his DNA, so blood drinking would have worked for the record.
Yeah, you and your weird ass fetish, yeah.
Uh-huh, exactly. And Izuku had to do the stereotypical action hero thing and get in shape by drinking chicken in a blender.
Izuku?
Or whatever our main character's name is. Still trying to
Deku?
remember that.
I definitely feel like his name is Deku or something to that effect.
Alright, all good. Green-haired guy, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Green spiky-haired
I'll agree
dude.
with that one.
And, you know, All Might's taken a really serious liking to him now, which is starting to actually show itself too, which is really cool to see. Just that there is a bit of a bond forming there. I guess my question becomes, he talks about, like, passing the power on to green-haired guy. If he does that, does he lose the power himself? Like...
That would be an interesting concept.
Because, like, I forget exactly what he called it, but, like, the general idea of how his power seems to work... Oh yeah, one for all. Is he, like, draws upon the power of those around him. So then if he's able to share that, is he literally, like, passing all of it on, or is it that they both now have this power, and the reason All Might is the only one who currently has it is the guy before him just, like, died of old age. Or girl before him, or whatever.
Huh.
The squid before him that had it died of old age. Like,
I feel like we'll either find out in the next 2 episodes, or it'll never be addressed.
yeah, probably. I guess it's not that big of a plot element unless they want to make it a plot element, but I don't know. Given how All Might's pretty, like, heavily featured within the opening theme, I would assume he continues to have his powers and act as a mentor of sorts, at least through Season 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, now that I think about it, if Deku just needs to eat the piece of DNA, then why would All Might lose his powers?
Yeah, especially considering, like, there's no way it would just transfer from eating the strand of hair. Like, he ripped it off and he was still exactly as he was before. So...
yeah, so... conclusion, All Might will continue to be in the show.
So now we have two... Wait, okay. So then this brings up a major issue. If he can just share his powers with everybody, why doesn't he just give his power to all the other superheroes? That way there's, like, multiple of him going around that can save everybody. Especially now that he's limited to the only 3 hours at a time thing.
I definitely think it's more of a, like, he knows that that power is overpowered, and so he wants to give it to someone who he knows won't take advantage.
I guess that's fair, but at the same time, you would think, because he said, what, it was 5 years since his injury? They would have found somebody else suitable by this point.
I guess.
I mean, the other heroes that we've seen at least seem to have good intentions. But no, yeah, you gotta just wonder, like, why wouldn't he have passed this on to other people? Actually, it almost wonders if a storyline they'll eventually follow is, like, somehow it gets out that he can share his power, and then businesses try to abuse that. Or criminals.
I don't think that I don't think that this anime is that type of anime, but that could be an interesting plot point later.
It could definitely come to unfold. I mean, any multi-season anime, I feel like they plant stuff like that on purpose, but we'll have to wait and see. It just that's just something that's bugging me, is if he can share it so openly, and it's not like a direct passing of the torch.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's also seen as, like, morally negative to obtain powers the way he did, considering he seems to be so secretive about it and just kind of goes with the fact that people assume it's natural.
Oh yeah, like, definitely the fact that everyone is born with a quirk, and All Might takes very high note of the fact that Deku has no quirk. It might have something to do with something.
Are we fair to assume that All Might was born with no quirk then as well?
I don't think that's safe to assume, but I think that's like possible.
It's possible. I gotcha. So maybe that's why he relates to him so well. I can definitely appreciate that. I also want to take note of the fact that, what's his face? I guess we're calling him, did you say Deku?
Yeah.
Yeah. His, rival, he said he hasn't attacked him since that day where he saved him, so. Once more, we're following that, stereotypical route of he thanks him by hating him, and then he, just kinda lays off. and then threatens to beat the crap out of him again if they were in the same exam room, which they aren't, but still. Speaking of exam rooms, we've got the chick he encountered within the exam room. So, my big hope for that character, because that's like the first legitimate female character we've had introduced into the show, is like, with my experience watching shonens, the female characters are rarely written well. Like, at most, they usually have like half of a season where they're written well, and then after that, they're just turned into damsels in distress. So I hope that's not the route they go, because it gets really annoying after a while.
Everyone's like superhero. I don't think that'll happen.
And I hope you're right, because my experiences with Yukio especially are the opposite, dude. They set him up so well, and then it's just like, yeah, you had a good, like, half of a show. Now we're just gonna use you to give the main character something to do. Like, it's literally awful. So, that's my biggest hope. And what'd you say her quirk was? Was it, like, being able to make people float? Because she, like, tapped him real quick, and then he, like, lifted off the ground. I couldn't tell whether that was supposed to be, like, an artistic demonstration of his emotional response, or her actual quirk.
I think that's her quirk.
Alright, I guess that would make sense.
Because she apologized for lifting him up.
Allow us to also note that in that exam room, they have spotlights that can go to every single one of the seats in there. So the one guy shows up and it's just immediately, spotlight turns on, goes right down to his seat as he's talking, asking the question. I also think the creators of the show have a thing for, like, the long, slightly curved, pointed hairdo. We saw, what, 4 characters with that in this episode?
I mean, it's absolutely fucking beautiful, though.
Like, nobody I mean, I understand it's anime hair, so it's gonna be a little bit over the top to begin with. But that hairstyle in particular, it's like plain, but ridiculous at the same time. We saw so many people with it too. I think they were just trying to make like almost a running joke with it. It was great though. I mean, I'm just hyped to see what ends up happening in the exam thing. I'm curious to see if the powers actually end up playing out correctly after all his training, or if there's issues. I feel like there has to be issues, because that seems to be the way they want to go with this arc. Is like, Season 1's about him learning to use powers. So, I feel like it's going to be a case of, like, he jumps in to do something, like, super heroic, and he's like, All Might powers, go! Crap, why are these not working? And then he almost dies. I mean, that's also a pretty generic, like, superhero story route to go when somebody first develops their powers, is to be like, well, I didn't get an instruction manual, and now I literally have no idea what to do, so.
I mean, he's trained under All Might himself, though.
That's true, but was he actually training him for using the powers, or just working on, like, physical exercises?
No, it's just to buff him the fuck up.
Exactly, so I don't know if he knows how to unleash the powers, because, like, All Might seems to have to do something mentally to inflate and deflate. So,
I mean, we'll see.
We'll definitely see, yeah. So I think that'll about wrap it up for this review, and I'll catch everybody next time.